know if you've ever noticed this, but sometimes you're attracted to friendships or romantic people because they have a trait that you've disowned in yourself or that you don't allow yourself to express. But by extension of them, it's like you have permission to let that side of yourself out. It's pretty common with, the shy girl finding the bold man or bold friend, and then getting permission to kind of just have a little less inhibition, right? And I really noticed this with my dynamics because there's a part of me that is always very attracted to brash and very irreverent, bold people who will just say whatever they think and express it, and there's almost a sense of me of like, oh, give me some of that. I have that in me, like I think that way, but I don't allow myself to express that side of me enough. And by being around you, maybe it'll rub off on me, right? There's kind of that sensation. And that's fine. That's a very natural, like we do have different aspects of ourselves that are brought out in our friendships and romances, and that's good. But when it gets to be too unhealthy, I think, is when we almost have a savior idea of that person. Like we think this bold person is going to be the person that saves me from my kind of shy, people-pleasing passivity. No, they're not going to save you. Like you can be inspired by them, but you yourself have to unlock your own boldness. You can't be thinking that person is going to give you the secret or the magic. There's no secret sauce that they're going to give you. And I noticed that because there's a person that I really admire, this woman, and I'll notice myself just kind of almost thinking that if we could just be closer and get to know each other, then her audacity is going to rub off on me more, and I'm going to kind of start to manifest and be my best self. And I thought, why is it that I think I need her in order to be fully my full realized self? Like, why is it like yes, that can help, but because of this kind of almost neediness of wanting her to give me permission to be bold, it actually makes me even more repulsive to her. Because the attraction pole is like attraction and repulsion. And so if you're looking at somebody and thinking, I really need what you have, they are sensing that, and they're not sensing, oh, this person's whole on their own and excited to get to know me. They're sensing this kind of, this kind of like, hey, come be my savior, come save me kind of quality. And it's natural, like oftentimes it's even reciprocal, and in dynamics, both people have that level of, oh, this person can save me or complete me or all those kinds of terms, because they have traits that person has let be disowned, denied, or just not as expressed as other traits. And sometimes there's a sense of whatever sides we show are mask or protector selves or coping mechanisms. It's like we know deep down there's other sides we want to express to be fully realized, right? But I'm noticing that when I'm viewing somebody that way, they react to me with complete, almost like I'm beneath them. For instance, that person that I was talking about that I admire, I really respect how she says what she thinks and fights for what she believes in a way that's extremely brash, completely doesn't care what people think, and has a sense of individualism and spark that I have deep down, but it's like I think, oh, if only I could hang out with her more, maybe I could get a little more of that. But that's the thing, is because I don't have that, she's actually repulsed by the fact that I'm like thinking that she has the secret sauce. And there's a tendency for her to respond with almost a superiority. Like when she talked to me, she acted as though I was beneath her, but it wasn't just because she's snobby. Like, yeah, it could be that. There could be her having a superiority complex, but it's also because I'm putting myself in a bit of a, like, bootlicking role that's very subservient and like coming off as I need you, and I would just deign for you to like just talk to me. Let's get to know each other. Like there's too much of that repulsive. Oh, please, And I noticed this is a friendship dynamic, but it can also play out with dating too, and that's why the pole of attraction has both attraction and repulsion. They can get very close, that level of, ooh, this is gross, this person is too much, too groveling, right? And I don't like the groveling side of me either. And what does that do? Well, that makes me get stronger, more bold. I'll stand up for myself. I will rise to the level that I'm trying to get this person to save me and be, but then I'm actually rising to that level just by seeing their repulsion. I'm realizing, oh, the trait that I admire in them is what I need to embody in my own personality. And so if I admire someone that's bold and stands up for themselves, expresses what they need, honors themselves, has self-respect to the extent of a kind of brash bluntness, then when I'm coming at them and they're repulsed by me, it's actually, even in that reaction, that's also bringing out, I need to be bold. And so now I don't need them to be bold. Like I can stand up for myself just from their kind of sneering attitude. I think, well, hell with you. I'm trying to get to know you, but you're sneering at me. And then I actually do find my own strength, voice, empowerment, and just kind of, that quality of not putting up with shit. Because that's the thing. In order to embody that quality, you also have to be that inverse, and then you have to almost be shamed out of it, and then you're strong. Because you have to be a fool to be a master. You start off making the mistakes, being the chameleon, the people pleaser, and then usually you've made that mistake so many times, and you have people that treat you in such a way that's like as though they view you as beneath them, as though they view you as subservient, because you're putting yourself kind of in that submissive role. And then you realize, oh, I need to be that bitch. And oftentimes I'll look at things and think, would I rather be the bitch or the fool here? Well, I think I'd rather be the bitch, because the bitch has more self-respect. And so when I'm looking up to this girl, trying to get her attention, she's repulsed by me, talks down to me, then interestingly, I think, hell with you. And then I become that, and then interestingly, probably later, she'll want to hang out with me because I have that sense of self-possession and that self-respect. So I think it's a really important lesson, because it's kind of the same lesson we always hear with, you're more attractive when you just own yourself and you don't give any shits. But then if you're too much of that extreme, if you're too brash, then you have a wall up. You've got a rigidity and a certainty that's hard to hack. For instance, like this girl that I'm respecting, she's actually missing out on a friendship with someone who genuinely admires her, because she's just kind of so far in the bold side that she looks down at people that show almost weakness. She almost looks down at vulnerability, and in that way, that wall keeps her from actually continuing to have a softening that would actually benefit her, because this brash side, she needs to have that opposite. She needs to have a little bit more of that softness, vulnerability, stepping into someone else's shoes, that kind of thing. And so it's interesting because when you see these dynamics play out and you're finally at the level where you can kind of see, oh, look, there I am. I'm in that weird role again. People are talking down to me. People are just shitting on me and thinking that that's okay. But it takes two to make a dynamic. And part of what's enabling that person to look down on you is you looking down on yourself and looking up at them as though they're on a pedestal. You cannot come at people from that, like either idealizing them or demonizing them, because that is putting you in either a superior or inferior role, and that's not the case. We are all equal. We are all people who have so many gifts and things to share, and we don't need to have this thing where we look up to somebody and then they talk down to us, and then we don't need to have that thing where we demonize them and we talk down to them. And so that's why both poles in this, both of us can learn from each other. I'm taking the lesson though and saying, you know, I'm done with chasing after trying to get time and attention from people who seem to view me as beneath them when I'm not beneath them. And see, then I'm already getting into the voice of self-respect, and that's getting beyond that pedestaling and that, you know, sycophant kind of quality. And then ironically, then I am attractive to everyone. Maybe not even those people, because those people may be they're almost kind of on a wall of superiority that can sometimes be hard to break. And they could really benefit from, I'm going to soften up and kind of give people the benefit of the doubt and kind of try to see, this person likes me, but I'm not going to look down on them as weak. I'm going to see that maybe I need a little more of that trait myself, that maybe I need a little more of that people-pleasing vulnerability. Anyway, I hope this was helpful.